Hello everyone, this is Shiv Prem, a legal intern at Lexis and Company, and currently pursuing BLLB honors from Central University of South Bihar. And in today's session, I will be discussing about the contract of indemnity. Many of you will be aware of this term, but I think this topic will be good for me. So, this topic will also be covered into two videos. In the first part, I will be dealing with the contract of indemnity and its position in India. Further, in the second video, I will be discussing about its position in England, and then after I will be going through some rights of promisee, indemnifier, and other rights, and at last I will be going through the difference between the contract of indemnity and the contract of guarantee. So, let us start this topic from the contract of indemnity. According to the dictionary meaning, indemnity is a protection against loss, especially in the form of a promise to pay or payment for the loss of money, goods, etc. The meaning, nature, effect of a contract of indemnity is to be found in the facts of a case Adamson versus Jarvis. In this case, the plaintiff was an auctioneer who sold certain cattle on the instruction of the defendant. It subsequently claimed that the livestock didn't belong to the defendant but to a person who made the auctioneer liable, and therefore the auctioneer in his turn sued the defendant for indemnity for the loss he had thus suffered by working on the defendant's directions. The court laid down the plaintiff, having acted on the request of the defendant, was entitled to assume that if if what he did proved to be wrongful, he would be indemnified by the defendant. Thus, indemnity in English law means a promise to save a person harmless from the consequences of an act. The promise could be expressed or it's going to be implied from the circumstances of the case. According to Section 124 of the Indian Contract Act 1872, a contract of indemnity means a contract by which one party promises to save lots of the opposite from losses caused to him by the conduct of the promiser himself or by the conduct of the other person. This provision includes only express promises to indemnify from the loss caused by the conduct of the promiser himself or by the conduct of any other person. This provision incorporates a contract where one party promises to save another person from loss caused by the promiser himself or by the act of any other person. This definition covers only the loss caused by the conduct of the human agency, only, not by the loss caused by the events or accidents, which do not or may not depend upon the conduct of the promisor himself or by the act of any other person. In the contract of indemnity, the person who promises to indemnify is known as the indemnifier, and the person in whose favor a promise is made is known as indemnified or indemnity holder. For example, A promises to deliver a certain goods to B for rupees 2000 every month. C comes in and promises to indemnify B's losses if A fails to deliver the goods. This is how B and C will enter into a contractual obligations of indemnity. Let us see another example where H contracts to K against the consequence of any proceeding which L may take against K in respect of certain amounts of money. Here, H is the indemnifier or promisor as he promises to bear the loss of K. K is the promisee or the indemnified or the indemnity holder as his loss is covered by H. Now, two parties are involved in the current contract of indemnity. The objective of entering into a contract of indemnity of 1872 is to protect the promise from the unscheduled loss. Indemnity contract is not valid for illegal things. The contract of indemnity may be expressed, that is either made by words spoken or written, or implied, that is inferred from the conduct of the parties or circumstances of that particular case. A contract of indemnity is one among the species of contracts. The principles applicable to contracts generally also are applicable to such contracts in such a way that the principles like free consent, legality of object, etc. are equally applicable. When the consent to an agreement is caused by coercion, fraud, misrepresentation, the agreement is voidable at the choice of the party whose consent was so caused. As per the need, against the law of or against the general public policy is either unlawful or void, depending upon the supply of the law to which it is subjected. Now let us see what is the position of the contract of indemnity in India. According to section 124 of the Indian Contract Act, which recognizes only such contract of indemnity in which the loss is caused by the promisor himself or by the conduct of any other person. It does not cover the loss arising due to the human agency. Therefore, a contract of insurance is not covered within the definition of section 124. In United India Insurance Company versus Mrs. Aman Singh, the cover note stipulated delivery to the consignor, moreover on its way to destination goods were to be stored in a godown and thereafter to be carried to the destination. While the products were within the godown, the products were destroyed by fire. It was held that the products were destroyed during the transit and therefore the insurer was liable to as per the insurance contract. The rule evolved by the court of equity that there is no necessary for the indemnity holder to be indemnified before he could be indemnified. This rule was accepted by the Indian legislature through the case of Gajanan Moreshwar versus Moreshwar Mothers. The view expressed by Changla Justice while giving the judgment was like the court of equity held that if its indemnity holder's liability has become absolute, then he was entitled either to get the indemnifier to pay off the claims or to pay into the court sufficient money, which would constitute a fund for paying the claims, paying off the claims whenever it was made already held that section 124 and 125 Contract Act, are not exhaustive of the law of indemnity, and therefore the court here would apply an equivalent equitable principle that the court in England do. Therefore, it is if the indemnification has incurred a liability as is absolute, he is entitled to call upon the indemnifier to save lots of him from the liability and to pay it off. The Law Commission of India has expressed the opinion that the view expressed by Changla Justice is correct and should be adopted by the legislature. That's all for now. Let us meet in the next session. Please do like and subscribe the channel. Thank you.